Okay. Hello everybody. My name is Martin Nečas. I work at Red Hat, and I work there as a technical team lead and maintainer on the project called Forklift. It is an open source project for migrating VMs from various places to Kubernetes KubeVirt. And I think most of you here are familiar with the VMware situation, but for those who are not, this is what happened. VMware was acquired by Broadcom. It's not that well visible. So I love this image. Yeah. And immediately after that, we started getting some articles. This is from Reddit, from Register, and from Business Insider. There are many more, and I think some of you were also, from what I heard from statistics, were also influenced by this. So feels quite a bit like being held for ransom. So how to escape this ransom? Quick answer, virt-v2v, which I think many of you know, and Forklift, and that's it. Thank you. Okay, so let's go to the details. So virt-v2v, really known tool, been developed by Richard Jones for many, many years, focusing lately mainly on the VMware for migration to QEMU. Why virt-v2v? Why we went with some choices? Main thing is gas conversion. The VMs running on VMware have their own drivers, their own devices, and we want to use the proper QEMU tools and virtual drivers. So what virt-v2v is doing, it removes the VMware tools, it installs the virtual drivers, installs the guest agent, and does lot of editing inside a VM and configurations. It even rebuilds init-ramfs and many more. I'm not a perfect guy for this. The Richard Jones would be perfect for it. I'm just kind of user of virt-v2v. How does the virt-v2v work? Inside it, there is a tool called NBDKit. I highly recommend this Fosdem talk from Richard a few years back. The NBDKit allows you to attach devices, remote devices to your machine as they would be in your local laptop. It allows you to do many things to it. The protocol itself, NBD, is straightforward. It allows you to do read-writes. I have a quick demo, which highly depends on the Wi-Fi, so we'll see. For example, I got here the Fedora raw.exe file, and using NBDKit, I can. Oh, that's not that well visible. I apply the curl plugin to the image itself, and the file is exe compressed. So what it does, it uncompresses all the blocks, so it doesn't download the whole file and open it. It reads only the blocks which it needs, and then it applies a cow filter on top of it. So all writes will be done to the local machine, and I can do whatever I want with it. I can let me just copy paste it. I can see the partitions, the Wi-Fi, I can mount it, and now I will not have the TMP. Please, I have TMP. Anyway, yeah, I can mount it and do whatever with it. The Wi-Fi is slow, so let's move on. So how does the virt-v2v work? This was the NBDKit. The virt-v2v, we have the VMDK on the VMware side. That's a disk format through which we connect with the NBDKit. VMware has the libraries called VDDK, which are to manipulate their disks, and NBDKit has a plugin for it, which allows the NBDKit to do the same things as I was trying to show with the curl. On top of the NBDKit, there is started another tool called GuestFS, which attaches the NBD socket to a VM, and inside it, it's running a daemon. TLDR, it allows you to manipulate disks securely and quite stable. And it runs a lot of the conversion scripts inside it. So we have the VMDK, and then all the changes, what we are trying to do, are written to the cache. So first, we do the conversion. We fail fast, and we see what goes wrong with the conversion itself. It also allows us to use tools like FSStream. So we throw away the unnecessary files, unnecessary blocks, and they are written to like zeros to the cow cache, and we don't need to transfer it from the VMDK, the blocks themselves. So we even improve the migration time. So then we do the NBD copy, first reading from the cache, and then the remote blocks from the VMDK. And we got the destination. Advantages, it fails fast. It's really good at it. If something goes wrong, it supports many operating systems. Various really old Windows versions, there depends on the virtual drivers which are available. It supports Ubuntu, CentOS, Fedora, many, many more. And it manages the disk transfers for you. So manages the disk transfer, so all you need to do is run V2V, and you have it. You don't need to do anything fancy with it. Disadvantage. It has high downtime because the VM needs to be turned off throughout the whole process. Otherwise, you would get disk corruptions. And disadvantage, it manages the disk transfer. So when Forklift came, we wanted to do some tricks around it, and we needed to get rid of it, those parts. Okay, so that was weird V2V. What about Forklift? Forklift is a tool around KubeVirt, and it focuses on migrating from VMware, OpenStack, OVirt to the KubeVirt itself. So the whole migration processes, you have configured VMware infrastructure on your source, and you need to first configure the Kubernetes itself. We have some projects and some POCs to do it for you, but nothing concrete yet. So the administrators need to go and create the storage classes. And they need to create the networking. The system administrators know them the best, so we are relying on them. Then the user needs to add a provider to the forklift. Forklift immediately scans the infrastructure, lists all the VMs, and sees which networks are used for the VMs and which storage data sources are used. Then we have internal validations. We tell users which features are available, which are not. If the VM migration would fail, for example, we are not supporting right now RDMs, so we let users immediately know. Next, the user needs to create the mappings, network and storage. So we have a VM with some specific storage, and they need to tell us from which data store it needs to be migrated to which storage class. And the same goes for networks. We have then two migration types, cold and warm. The cold one is the V2V flow. It shuts down the VM, migrates it, and then boots it up. High downtime there, same as V2V. It's actually using V2V like under the hood, and then starting the migrations. But more interestingly is the warm migration. So we have again the VMDK on VMware side. We have removed the NBDKit from V2V to a separate project called KubeVirt Container Data Importer, CDI, and which manages the transfer. This allows us to use additional VMware features, such as change block tracking. So we create a snapshot on top of the VM, and we migrate the underlying disk. So, for example, the blue one could be 500 gigs. We transfer it, and then we would be transferring only the changes, which would be happening. So the orange one can be 5 gigabytes. And then we do another one. And the red one can be even less, because the migration time of 5 gigabytes, it will be much less than migration time of 500 gigs. And we do this periodically until the user sets the cutover time. And cutover, at that point, we will shut down the VM and do the conversion using VirV2V in place on the already finished disk. So there is still downtime. It's not live migration, but still it's warm, so something in between. Advantages: low downtime, much lower than the cold migrations. It removes the VirV2V disk transfer, and this allows us additional features. VirV2V will not continue the migration if the guest conversion fails. That's how it was created, and if the users want to try using emulation instead of drivers and proper tools, they can still try it. We have this work in progress, but it allows it to us. Additionally, it allows us to transfer shared disks. V2V looks at all disks attached to the VM and transfers all of them. Here we can select the disks independently, and we are also starting working on offloading, that we would copy the disks within the storage arrays. Right now, NBDKit, everything goes over the network, and it can take some time. Disadvantage is it fails slow and requires change block tracking on the VM. And it can take a bit longer because there are more steps. We create snapshots, we delete them, and do everything what's needed. And I have a quick demo. Yes, Wi-Fi working. So I do create, this is in the OpenShift, it can be also in the OKD UI. I create a vSphere provider. Credentials, and now it got all the information from the VMware. I see all my VMs. I see the validations, which are on top of it. There is warning that it's running. I create a migration plan with a source provider. I choose the storage mappings. I need to name it. I can choose which destination namespace the VMs should be migrated to. So it can be isolated for separate administrators. We can choose it wherever we want. There are a lot of other configurations and settings. I enabled the warm migration for change block tracking. And starting the plan. We do create disks on the. We do create the persistence volume claims on the cluster itself, to which we will start the migration to. And I'll go to the VM. It's still running VM, but the migration is happening on the background. I write some simple file to it that. As a test that it will be also on the destination. And then I hit the cutover time. I set it immediately. I can see the progress of the disk transfers. Then we run the conversion. And in the end, we create a VM. If the VM was turned off, we will not turn it off. We will not turn it on. If it was running, we turn it on again. We are trying to keep it as persistent as possible. And now I see in the KubeVirt that the VM is running. I'll log into it again. Yeah. And I have my demo file. Slideshow. How is it with large scales? We have tested it with many hundreds of VMs, huge disks, and even especially high IOPS databases. Those were a bit tricky, but we got it in the end, and now it works without a problem. So yes, it works quite well, and we are working on the mapping of the networks and trying to add additional operating systems. The storage offloading, that we would do the copying not over the network but within the storage arrays, or some improvement to the speed transfers, and maybe additional source providers. We've been asked also to add something like AWS and other hyperscalers, but right now we are not working on them. But feel free to go so and try it yourself. We have it on GitHub. I read the README maybe to do it a bit better. And yeah, that's it. Thank you, everybody. Yeah. Yes, please.
So thank you for the impressive demo. Is this already available in OpenShift, or was this
yeah.
review?
Yeah. It's question was if it's already available in OpenShift. Yes, it is available in OpenShift already. We have an operator hub that you can install it as operator, and which maintains and installs everything for you. Yeah. Yes, please.
What are the common problems during migrations in real world?
What are the common problems during the migrations? Most often it's what we've been hitting various operating systems and various configurations. There is no standardization. Any administrator can do whatever they want with a VM, and we are getting a lot of strange configurations which we are creating custom scripts. Also, problems are the devices themselves that we need to, because between VMware and QEMU there are so many differences, so we need to even inject some UDEV rules to keep some, for example, names to be persistent during migrations. Yes, in the back.
On Windows guests, can I install the virtual drivers while the machine is on VMware, not reboot, and then move them to VMware by shutting them down, and then whenever you wake up, you're going to have the virtual drivers? Is that a good approach?
So the question was if we can install the virtual drivers first on the VMware side and then shut it down during the and then transfer it. Like, you can do it. It would be much better for us. For example, if the conversion would fail, you could do it, but we are trying to do this for the users themselves automatically. But yeah.
Because isn't it good if you can just keep the VMware drivers just in case? Because what's the purpose of removing them?
So we are doing the if we need to remove the VMware tools and the VMware drivers, we are doing copying. So we are not touching the source VM. The source VM is still staying there. If you want to, it will. If the migration process fails or something happens, or you decided, yeah, it's not working for me, the VM is still there until you delete it. Good. Yes?
Yeah, I was wondering, how about the export? Say I want to flash my VM from Kubernetes into whatever persistent storage to QCal or raw image that I can consume on standard KVM.
Question was about exporting from Kubernetes itself.
Yeah, Kubernetes using forklift or...
So I am not sure if Kubernetes has something like that right now about exporting VMs from Kubernetes, but we do allow forklift allows importing of OVAs.
Yeah, because I experimented with the OCI importer. I couldn't find, the opposite project, and I was wondering if I was missing something or...
You can just attach the PVC that contains the VM image and then copying from there.
Just the D. Just the D for me. Just copying over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then you can use it because it's KVM image anyway, so that's something that you can do.
Yeah. Yeah.
What kind of problem did you meet with a very high workload system, like the database system you have like as a limitation?
The question was what problems we encountered with RHEL databases?
With a very high workload system like databases.
With high IOPS. So we had some problems with CDI that it wasn't querying correctly the changes using the VMware's changeable tracking system, and we fixed it a few months ago, and it returns not all the changes at once. We needed to do some additional queries for it, but that was just a technical problem. Yes?
Possibly slightly off topic, but if Broadcom had bought VMware, say, 18 months earlier than they did, do you think Red Hat would have still dropped support for Overt?
I have worked on Overt, and I am not the right person to answer this.
There were debates whether to revive it or not.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it seems like Kubernetes is the way to go.
Just for the recording, the question was if the Broadcom would announce or acquire VMware earlier, if Red Hat would kept Overt, and you could hear the answers. Yes?
So did you try this on any other Kubernetes distribution, something like from Rancher or?
If we have tried it on other Kubernetes distributions like Rancher, personally I have not. Sorry.
But would it work? Like, is it using something special from OpenShift?
If it would work, it should. We are not using anything OpenShift specific. I think it should work well. If not, please open an issue on GitHub. Yes?
Do you have the ability to order the execution of migration plan? For example, if I have in single migration plan two groups, group A, group B, can I say start trusting group B only after group A is cleared?
The question was if we can order or group the VMs throughout the migration. That is a feature which we actually asked a lot. We've been thinking about it, and not right now. But what you can do is create separate plans that you can do group VMs together within the plan itself, and then you can create another plan for additional VMs. Cool. Thanks. Anybody else? Cool. In that case, thank you, everybody.